All right, hello, happy hammers. Boy, we got a win yesterday. Woohoo! Uh, Not used to this. Usually it's a sad fest, a negative fest, and I don't know. Anyway, I got to really mention real quick that we have AmericanHammers.net. It's our website. It's like our one-stop shop that has literally our shop, which it's got items from different supporters groups that you can purchase, and that helps the supporters groups because we split the proceeds with them. So if you buy a Hammers Saying item, or if you buy Boston Hammers or Fresno Irons merchandise on our website, then like I said, it helps, and we kick back to them. Also, we have our podcast. We have a bunch of podcasts, not just these YouTube shows. We have a couple more that are going to be starting up in the next 2 weeks. But right now we have Fortune's Always Hiding, and we have American Hammers Radio. Go check them out. They're on all the different platforms, but they're on our website as well. So if you need a link to those, just go to our website, AmericanHammers.net. Also, our live videos are there as well. So we're streaming live simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. So if you're over on Twitter watching us on Periscope, or you're on Facebook, please head on over to YouTube channel, American Hammers TV, and click the subscribe button. That'll help us out. Other than that, here we go. So we have a special guest today. Well, first I'll say we have a special guest co-host. I think you might recognize him from everywhere. He's been all over the place. Hammers Chat, West Ham Fan TV, and many other places. But we've also interviewed him. If you got to go back and check out that interview that we did with Jazz, it was really good. One of my favorites. So he's my special co-host today. He's a pro Moyes gentleman, and he's been dying to get back on the show to explain that, and I think he might get into that today. But I guess we're all happy with him at the moment, but we'll get into that. So our special guest, though, is Graham Howlett actually recommended that we speak with this gentleman. He's one of the moderators from Knees Up Mother Brown, the forum, and I guess we'll get more into that and who he is and what he's about. And his name is he goes by Rio. So, what's happening, brother?
Okay, I'm all right, thank you. Especially yesterday, but like you said, it's a very rare occurrence.
Yeah, it has been. But as Jazz will say, keep the faith, and the great Moisea, whatever, and we'll get into that. But so what we'd like to start with is, I mean, usually we're used to interviewing American Hammers or Hammers worldwide, not so much in the UK. And our first question is usually, how on earth did you become a West Ham supporter? I mean, we kind of might have the idea you're probably, I guess maybe born into it or something like that. But either way, just explain how you got into West Ham and what your first memories are as a Hammer.
Yeah, absolutely. Sadly, my parents weren't Spanish. I wasn't born in Barcelona, so I've been I was born about 5 minutes from the ground. Lived in the area all my life, and as a young kid, my mum and dad were both working, so I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and I had 3 really sport-mad uncles there as well. But the journey from where my mum and dad lived to my grandparents' house used to be a bus journey, used to go right past the bowling. So once I got that, was always on the TV at my grandparents' house, and what was the ground I went past with all the people streaming out on a Saturday was football. That was it. I was kind of destined to a life of misery, I think, from there on.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. So what are your memories of your first match you ever been to?
My first match was Boxing Day 1983 at home to Southampton, and as is typical of West Ham, we lost 1-0. I just remember sitting on the wall of the North Bank, as it was then, and I was just enthralled by the atmosphere, the people, like the sights and the sounds. It just really hooked me. That was my first game. Lost. 5 days later, I got taken to the next home game, which was against Tottenham, and we won 4-1. And I don't think life's been any better since, to be honest. That was the peak of my West Ham career.
Oh man, yeah. I just want to mention we do pull up comments from the live chat, which it'll be coming from Periscope, Facebook, or your YouTube channel. And like Duncan was saying, it's a nice feeling not to for football not to ruin his weekend. And Kent Hammers, a good friend of ours, says, together we stand. GSB out. Great performance from the lads. If they play like that for the rest of the season, we'll be okay. 100%. So let's get an answer from both you guys on this one. After we had that performance against Liverpool, where we lost 3-2, and everybody was saying that there was a lot of fight, though we showed a lot of fight. Let's see if that should carry over. Let's see if that carries over. Were you optimistic going into Southampton? Going into this one, how that mesh?
I had a lot more confidence after Monday's performance. I was still pretty dubious because quite often with Sam, we put in a really good performance and we don't back up with another one. And yesterday's was a do-or-die game. If we'd have lost that, I think we would have been relegated. I don't think there was no coming back if we'd lost yesterday.
Yeah.
But there was a complete change of attitude over the last 8 days. Change of kind of impetus. We've got a lot more attacking impetus. We're actually getting support up to Heller, which makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
And it looks good. We look really good over the last 2 games.
Who are you, Jess?
I think when the transfer window opened, if we didn't bring anyone in, we were down for sure. The current players didn't have anything within them to play any better. They were down in the dumps. They had no confidence. There's nothing in them. Mm-hmm. And the only way we could have got out is obviously there's 2-3 new guys that have come in. Bowen, Souček, and especially with Souček, when I heard after the sort of Liverpool game that he's not going to be available, that was a huge blow because he was just getting settled in, 3-4 games into it, running the midfield. It was all over the media how many minutes he ran. And that because of that, I wasn't sure about yesterday, but I still went for a 3-2 win. Yeah. And then they didn't pay Danny Ings, and we got over the line, especially after dropping 2 points at Brighton. So that's really good. Let's keep the momentum. Souček hopefully be back in 2-3 games time, and hopefully Fornals is another one. I wasn't sure if he could do it from the beginning. I knew he was very good as a sub, impact sub, but Long made that carry on, and he made a couple of goals yesterday. So let's keep the momentum going.
Yeah, I predicted a 2-2 draw because I thought I'm like, why, there's no way they're not going to start Ings. Why would they do that? That made no sense. And he always likes to score against us usually anyway. I've learned that this whole season and even last season, every time I predict us to win on the show, we lost. Every time it was a joke, and then every time last season, near the end, I started to predict us to lose on purpose. Like I let everybody know it's a joke, but we won those games. We went on a run at the end of last season. But I forgot to do that this season. I should have. But anyway, I picked a 2-2 draw, and we did very well. So I think I'm going to continue with the draw pickings. But no, you're right about Souček, man. He hit the ground running. I mean, that first match that he played, I was there, and I saw that. He wanted to show that he could play with us. I mean, he wanted to show that he could play at this level. I mean, there was a lot of talk that, he's coming from, the Czech league, and who knows if he's going to be any good. It's a whole different atmosphere. Doesn't matter how good he did over there. And he was trying to impress. You could see that he was running around like a maniac, and that's great. He had some fight. But then, like you said, Jazz, as soon as we found out that he was going to be injured for a little while, that was a massive blow, way more than Fredericks being out. Souček is just going to be a massive part to the end of our season. I think he's going to play a massive role. Now, on that note, you guys think that when Souček comes back, we should say hello to the bench for Mr. Noble?
For me, definitely. Yeah. I think he had a pretty poor game again yesterday night.
I think so.
Yeah.
It was, and the difference that Souček brings, he's got that dynamic. It's the work rate, the energy. He's also a threat at set pieces. That's something we've been lacking from the midfield for ages. Mm-hmm. And it's typical that I don't think he's ever been injured since he's been a pro. 3 weeks at West Ham, what's he doing?
Typical.
It's the West Ham way, isn't it? It's unreal.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, Jazz. What do you think?
I think he's the midfield sort of engine we've been waiting for since Czech Coyote sort of left us. I think the box-to-box engine that we've been looking for, 6'4", and he's kind of a monster. Yeah. I mean, he's good at set pieces. I believe he was the captain of his previous team, Slavia Prague, as well. Mm. And it's time for Noble to be on the bench. If we are to move to the next level, we've got to be ruthless. And there's about 5-6 players that in the summer, over 2 windows, hopefully, David will kind of change really. So people like Fredericks, Cresswell,
Yeah.
Wiltshire, Malenko,
Yeah.
Sanchez, Ajeti, Noble. Obviously with Noble, he'll always be at the club in terms of hopefully a coach or ambassador or something like that, like sort of Nolan really. So yeah, I think Noble's got to be on the bench, I think, in the next sort of going forward, I think.
Yeah, and Tony says from the chat room here, Souček for Noble should be the only change when he comes back. And I agree with that. I loved the lineup yesterday, barring no Souček, but that was a great move. Long may it continue, obviously, but we'll see.
It kind of brought a buzz into the crowd. I mean, everyone saw the lineup, all the attacking options on the pitch at the same time, and before the game, everyone around me was going, "This is unreal. This is like what we've been crying out for ages." So it did bring a real buzz to the crowd.
Yep. Real quick, there's a comment from Jazz's good friend, Tom, Irish Tommy. One of the things I like about yesterday is that it also sent a message to Anderson and Lanzini that they won't play if they're not performing. Maybe it will focus their minds. I hope that's the case. So here's the thing. Going into the match, once they announced the lineup, my initial negative thought, because that's what I usually am, a pessimist, was that the only reason why Moyes chose that lineup was because he's the board's puppet, and there was the big march going on, and they needed to do something to appease the fans and the supporters. That's the only reason why they did that, because Moyes' team selections in the previous, 6 matches were not really that impressive. Kind of like, what the fuck is that all about? What is he doing? Like Pellegrini used to do all the time. So why then? Why now? And it just so happens to be, that's the day that the 5,000 to 10,000, I guess, supporters were marching. I mean, does that have anything to do with it, or am I just crazy?
No, I completely agree with you. It clearly was a kind of, as you say, a reaction to the unrest off the pitch. You need to get the crowd back on side. And particularly after the City game, which left me absolutely furious. I mean, West Ham, you want to go out and win the game, I don't care how bad we're struggling. We're desperate to need points. I know City are amazing side, but if you don't go at them, don't give them something to play against, we can't sit back and contain a side like that for 90 minutes.
That's what I mean. I know. Jazz, what do you think?
No, I don't think it was connected. I think, obviously, when David came in, our squad was crap. And he knew there's only a few ways we can set up. And once the new players had come in, he wanted to protect sort of Bowen. And Man City, Liverpool, especially the Man City game, you wanted to see how it goes. So if we'd lost 5-0 at City, then he would have kind of set up differently against Liverpool. So City, we lost 2-0. Then Liverpool, he thought, okay, we can play a bit more, bring Bowen on at the end. And from now onwards, we will not see 5 at the back. This will be the team till the end. I don't think there's any conspiracy. I don't think he's a puppet. I think he's a very strong individual. He'll bring his own. The only thing with David is, unlike Mourinho, if he doesn't get the money, he will not go to the media and start complaining about it. I mean, he knows which way he wants to play. I mean, the fans wanted to set up differently, but David set up his own different way, I think. So I think just look forward. Everton, Liverpool's in history. It's gone now. Unfortunate not to get a point at Liverpool. This will be the team going forward, I think. So I don't think anyone's got to worry about 5 at the back or Bowen not starting anymore, I think.
Yeah. And real quick, going back to the whole Noble getting benched for Souček when Souček comes back thing, was that another reason why that would be important is it's for us not getting relegated, right? I mean, we need this lineup to continue. And I hope you're right, Jazz. I mean, listen, if it wasn't for Lee, my co-founder here, he was the conspiracy theorist, and he rubbed off on me, and I started overanalyzing everything, and I was like, oh shit, nope, yep, there's all this behind the scenes stuff going on. It's really not true. So anyway, I'm half joking, obviously. I really hope that Moyes is correct, because yes, we can't take away for the fact that he was very successful at Everton for many years. Okay, he did a great job at Everton, but since then, what has he done besides? He kept us up with a 23% winning percentage, back in 17-18. Other than that, what has he done?
He's been unemployed since he left us, and that's all I can really point out.
Yeah, I guess Sunderland relegated.
No other club employed him.
I think that's not bad because the average term a manager these days has, especially in the Premiership, is around about 18 months. So if he had a job, he would have been in and out. He hasn't had a job, he hasn't been sacked. So it's two ways of looking at it. I think we've been to Bilic, we've been to Sam, we've been back with Pellegrini, and we've been all around. And I think we just got. And like I was saying in a lot of the fan forums, I'm not personally in love with Moyes. He's not my uncle, but I believe in stability, and we've got to start. We've got to start from the bottom, build a foundation, hopefully clean up the scouting system.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of hopefully have a better training ground, more youth players coming through, and let's give him a couple of years, and let's see what he does.
Yeah.
What our fans expect is we're going to go from losing to playing the Brazilian 5-0 football. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen in different stages, I think. So we've got to be patient. Hopefully the board learns from their mistakes and see what happens. So yeah, I think just stay with him, I think, and hopefully we can kind of build slowly upwards, I think, instead of expecting from what happened under Pellegrini and not defending, just going gung-ho, letting in goals. I don't think David's going to be like that. He will definitely play a bit, but he will definitely make sure there's a better structure, there's a better defence. But then half the players at his disposal we know are not good enough. So he's got to build. He needs two windows. Sure. He'll get better slowly, I think. Yeah.
I just want to apologize real quick. This interview is actually going kind of flip-flop. It's kind of going backwards. Usually we talk more about the person, which we'll do in the second half, I'm guessing, because this is actually a good conversation we're having right now, and I want to continue with it. So apologies, Rio, but we'll talk about you personally, thereafter. But right now, this is good stuff because I really want to know what's your opinion on Ngakie's performances.
I think he's been an absolute revelation. I mean, he's not even a natural right back. He's been playing the under-23 side. Most is an attacking midfielder, from what I can gather.
Really?
Oh wow! Okay,
I didn't know that.
I mean, he's settled down. It looks like a natural. It looks like he's been coached for the game. He's been the find of the season for me. He's been really, really good.
No, brilliant. Yeah, definitely. And we also have Ben Johnson somewhere. I mean, that's another, solid youth outside back, I guess. Someone was mentioning that in the chat room as well. So sorry if I don't see it, so I can't really pull it up. We got a lot of comments since, but no, great points. Somebody had a question that I want to pull up. Okay, here we go. So this is what it was. Given how good Ngakia has been, should we convert Johnson to a left back? Because I guess he's naturally right back.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So what are your opinions on that?
I'm not for that, to be honest. He's obviously got some ability, but I don't like putting players in the wrong places,
Yeah, well,
if
it's happened a lot.
Player, please don't go on the left, particularly as a young defender. I think it's you're most accessible to some of the Premiership teams we come up against, like Liverpool, Man City. If he's not naturally a right-footed player on the left-hand side, they'd exploit that, So stick to what his position is and let him fight out with Ngakia in the future. And one of them's going to come out on top. Hopefully, they'll both be adequate squad members.
I think it's great competition for themselves. I think that would be a great, first and second string combination. With Zabaleta moving on eventually, and selling Fredericks in the summer, which I'm praying to God will happen.
Yeah. You're right, Tim. We've got to get rid of it. We've got to get rid of these injury-prone players, haven't we? We've got to get rid of them. Yeah. Lanzini's a big problem. Big contract. Don't know what we're going to do with him. And the thing with Anderson, Tim, was at Liverpool game, someone heard David Moyes have a go at him, saying, "You kind of sort of came out of a tackle, didn't he? But he didn't go for it." And David said, "If you don't run, you don't put the effort in, you're not going to be in the team. I don't care how much you cost."
Yeah.
So, but leaving players out like Haller, it's good. You can see the difference. We're playing more closer to him, and when you're dropped, it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Because Pellegrini never used to change the team, and David changes a bit more than maybe we like. So there's a balance in there somewhere, I think. But I think at least the players know if you don't make the effort, you're not going to be in the team. I think. Yeah. Yeah.
So going into next week, Archie, you want to say something, Rio?
No. So the thing with Lanzini, I mean, he's Moyes' favourite from his previous spell, but he's not performed for 18 months for us.
No.
And it is a major problem. And that's the thing I was annoyed about with Moyes as well, is that he kept going back to Lanzini when Fornells was in probably the best form once he'd settled into the English Premier League. He's been excellent form, and all of a sudden he was just dropped from the squad for Lanzini, who hasn't done anything, like I said, for 18 months. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You can't put players on reputation alone. It's just not on.
No, you're right. Now, Tony's asking in the chat room, do we think Cresswell is the weak link in the back four as it stands right now? And if yes, then, do we need to, sign someone as a left back in the summer, or maybe try someone that we currently have somewhere in our squad?
I definitely think we need an upgrade. He's been a really good servant to us since he joined. He's not been the same player since he broke his leg in pre-season a few years back,
Yeah.
And we definitely need an upgrade. It's one of the weak links of the side, to be honest. And we can't play Masuaku there. It's just a car crash waiting to happen.
Yeah. I don't think Cresswell's got the engine for the modern fullback. I mean, it's such a crucial position. It's like an overlapping wing-back type of position these days. And Cresswell, I've seen wingers ripping for pace as well.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a good player in the modern game 4 or 5 years ago. The game's moved on a lot. Now you need a really young, dynamic, sort of up and down the sort of wing type of fullback, really, and he doesn't fit that anymore. I think, So it's kind of. I think we've seen the best of him. I think,
Yeah. So if anyone's in the chat room or anything like that ever watched the show, and also this, I guess, is for you two guys as well, you must know that I have a massive ongoing disliking for Fredericks, just for many reasons. I've already mentioned it a million times in the shows why, my reasons, in which there are plenty of reasons. First and foremost, he's a spud. I mean, he's an Tottenham academy boy. I'll never forgive him for that. Number two, he's a decent championship player. I don't understand why we signed him to begin with from a championship club. And here's my most important thing, not the whole Spuds thing, but my most important reason why I can't stand him is that every time I watch him, I spend my time focusing on him and counting on my fingers. Like literally, I'll pull up my hand and I'll be like, oh, he passed to the other team again. Oh, there he goes. He heads the ball to the other team's foot. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he heads past the other team, past the other team, past the other team, and on and on. And then I end up finding myself, tracking all this. Like, what am I doing? Like I don't know. There's just a lot I dislike about him. And then I find myself, trying to prove myself right, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, that's that. But Ken Hammer says Tim Fredericks is I'm guessing overrated. He says overacted here. But if he had no pace, he wouldn't be a footballer. That's 100% true. And I believe that for me, because he over-relies on his pace because he's technically poor. Yeah, that's also, that was my frustration with Michail Antonio for many years, because he would do magnificent things for us. He would pull in, at sporadic times. But he's not Antonio's not the most technically gifted player. He just relies on his beast power, his beast mode, and his pace and his to get himself into decent positions. But then, he used to smash it into, all the time, et cetera. But it seems as though he's listening to Kevin Nolan, because apparently he's working with Kevin Nolan right now on his, eye for goal, which is, look, even the shots he's missing, at least they're down, which I'm actually impressed with. But you don't see the improvement out of Fredericks. That was my point I was trying to make, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, going into this upcoming match against Arsenal, is the run going to continue? Do we stand a chance? What are your thoughts, Rio?
I certainly think we've got a chance. I've said it since the start of the season. It's the worst Arsenal side I think I've ever seen in living memory. And we shouldn't have lost them at home.
Yeah.
No,
that was embarrassing.
For 65 minutes, they get a breakaway goal and we just collapse, which was symptomatic under Pellegrini, though, wasn't it? But it's a shockingly poor Arsenal side. The only thing they've got really is their forward line. Apart from that, I don't fear them at all. And after our last couple of performances, why not? Why not go there and 100%. Play like we did yesterday, set up like we did yesterday and attack them?
That's the key, right? To set up like they did yesterday, That's the difference between setting up like that or setting up like we did against Man City. Well, the results show for itself. Even against Southampton, I mean, the possession stats and the shots on target, etc., were, I can't say they were the same, but they weren't in our favor. But the scoreline was, and our performance on the pitch, like the visual performance on the pitch, was just. You saw the fight. It was great. I didn't expect that. I'm going to be honest, but very, very happy, and I hope it continues. And like you were saying, Rio, we, as much as we don't fear Arsenal, I just pray that the players have that same mindset going into the match too. Like not just looking at Arsenal's recent results, which have been okay. I mean, their recent results have been okay. Not like it had been when we first met them. They were on a shit run and they came to West Ham and they got what they needed.
We just give it away, didn't we?
Yeah. What do you think, Jess?
Yeah, I think we can get a point. Yeah, I can see us getting a point at least. Hopefully, with a bit of luck, victory. But hopefully, the key is hopefully you have the same team that played yesterday against Arsenal. I think have a momentum going. Hopefully, get a bit of luck, no injuries, and we can put the same team out 2-3 games in a row. That's the key, I think. So I think we can get a draw at least. I think,
Ooh, like this one. Kent Hammer says Nolan's been teaching Antonio how to stand on keeper from corners. He was the master at it. Listen, Nolan wasn't the master of pace, but he was the master of a lot of things, and I do appreciate and respect his time and whatever input he has to our players today. Very happy that he's involved in the club, and I think that is making a difference, and we're seeing it. But anyway, let's get more to Rio here. So, how did you get involved with Knees Up Mother Brown? How'd that all happen?
Back in I think it's about 2001. Two of my kids were born, both really like babies at the time, and late nights trying to look after them and settle them down. I was in front of a computer trying to get some information about West Ham. I just stumbled across Knees Up Mother Brown. Immediately felt at home. The old forum, as it was at the time, there's only about 15, 20 people. But
Really?
I started posting on that, and we had a bit of a connection, had a laugh with each other, and it just spiraled from there. And eventually, when we moved to a new style forum, which has only just been replaced, Graham invited me along to be a moderator. It's been there ever since. It's been a major part of my life. I've made lifelong friends through this site. I've wasted countless hours through this site. And
It sounds like this for me. I've made a lot of great friends all over the world because of this. And seriously, some of my best friends I've met through doing this. And it sounds very familiar.
Absolutely. But I mean, actually, I love the place. I love the people. I always call it my second job because, Graham was my other boss. So the boss is a great bloke. He does a lot of work. It's not really the best West Ham site out there in terms of forums, but also for the journalistic. Another string to the bow, and I think everyone's going to enjoy this section as well.
And Ria, just for the people out there, what's a typical day for you being a moderator? What kind of work do you do, just for people out there who don't know what it involves? Yeah.
When I get the chance, because I obviously work and family life, but in every now and then. But you log on. I always go to my kind of favourite sections of the site, just to keep a track of what I'm interested in. But I have to trawl through a lot of rubbish sometimes, and people, the different moderators have got different moderating styles. I mean, I'm always kind of one who kind of takes a little bit of a lenient style, messages people independently if they're kind of acting up a little bit. Just ask them to put a little behaviour. Other moderators, like I can mention, will go steaming in and meet fire with fire. I find it a little bit on the gentler side, But you just keep an eye on the debate, make sure everything's been done in a respectful manner. And also chip in with a few comments every now and then to help the things tick over. So, it's just an enjoyable thing.
Yeah. Where is it? Listen, I sat down with Graham, and that was he's a great dude. I didn't realize how much how not just how involved he is. I knew he was involved. I didn't realize, how much work goes into what he does and whatnot. But that was one of the first West Ham news sites that didn't have anything to do with the official website that I was able to search for back when I first started watching the club in 2010. And I used to get my information from there. And then I learned about other sites as well as the time went on, but then I always found myself coming back to, Knees Up Mother Brown, which is why, I wanted to reach out to him and meet him face to face about a partnership because, I'd say the majority of the people who work for American Hammers Network behind the scenes are all either they're in the forum, or they love Knees Up Mother Brown, like the website, for their news, etc. And I thought it was just a great fit. And it's just funny how a lot of us, not just in America, but worldwide, I mean, we find ourselves bumping into always Knees Up Mother Brown. And I remember even listening to the podcast back in the day, with Chris and Jay, and good stuff, always. And I even listened to a few back, because I guess Graham's been putting some of those old audio clips back up again, which is great refresher, but it makes me sad too, because you think about all the the bowling era, etc. It just brings back some bittersweet memories, obviously. And one of them being, I can't believe that I actually miss Sam Allardyce sometimes, looking at our result. No, just looking at how, before we beat Southampton, for example, we were talking about this the other night, or like last week, that God almighty, like, Sam, we keep saying to ourselves, or saying out loud, well, back when we had Big Sam, I mean, he'd always have his team set up for training. No matter, he had the shittiest players, he had the poorest transfer selection, but he picked the shittiest players, but then he'd have them up. They'd always be up for a fight, and teams used to hate playing us because our not just our midfield, but our defense was not dirty, but not weak. They didn't just walk. You couldn't just walk over them. And I'm like, we haven't had that in a long time, And that just goes back to this Sam Allardyce era, because obviously right before that wasn't the greatest either. Obviously when we get relegated, but anyway, I'm not saying I want Sam Allardyce back. I'm just saying it's just funny how that we finished 10th with him in our first season back in the Premier League, with George McCartney and Gary O'Neill and players like Joey O'Brien, and we have 40 million pound players and 20 million pound players on our team, and struggling to get out of the relegation area. It's kind of weird. Anyway, that's enough of my pro Allardyce rant. So anyway, back to the moderation. So what's the most I don't know, what's the craziest thing you had to like say, I gotta delete this, get this off our forum?
I really can't repeat some of the stuff I've had to remove.
You can. This is all, anything goes, man. It's uncensored.
Beyond belief, to be honest. No, we've had scurrilous rumours posted about certain players. We've had vitriolic abuse directed at members. You just can't judge what's going to come sometimes. But you have to be really on your guard. I mean, when a certain ex-manager brought out a super injunction to stop these rumours of failure, that was a challenging time, because we had to remove that forthwith. Otherwise, Graham could have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of working out which manager that was, but he caused a lot of issues for us at some stage.
Yeah, no. We've had some weird comments and fissures and stuff like that, and on our YouTube comments, believe it or not, some really interesting stuff. But my favorite is Twitter, though. Our Twitter account, since we're American, obviously, for the most part here. I can't say we're 100, even though we're American Hammers Network for the time being, we're not 100% American. There's a lot of either expats or, people that currently live in London that are on our, in our crew. And same thing with Irish Tommy. He's one of our guys, and he's in Ireland. So anyway, since us being American for the most part, we've been getting some, anti, oh, you're not a real fan, you're not a real supporter type of bullshit. You know what I mean? Or go back to supporting American football, etc. And I pulled up some of those comments the other night because I find it interesting. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, it's I wanted to explain, our side of things. I mean, for the most part, most people agree with or don't mind that we're fans. They have no problem with it whatsoever. It's only the select few that like to come out and say something, obviously. But it was just one guy in particular. The way he phrased it, it was just like, wow, that's kind of a dickish thing to say, but anyway, long story short, again, for the most part, we've been received very well. We got, a couple grand worth of followers on Instagram and Twitter, and we were almost at 2,000 on Facebook, 1,100 subscribers on YouTube, and for the most part, the comments and I mean, even if people don't agree with us, they still let us be, and let us understand that we do have passion for this club. And yeah, I mean, every time I go over there and visit, I mean, I'm received with open arms. I've met some of the greatest people on this planet. I got to meet the gentleman below here, and he was nothing but the nicest dude I've ever met. You know what I mean? Like him and my buddy Steve Mothersoul. We had a grand old time, and I've met the dudes from other YouTube channels on West Ham, and they were nothing but just give me a hug, and just great. Like we're all one happy family. Yeah, but you get a negativity like that on not anti-American. I'm just saying, like, you get any negativity about what you guys are saying, or F knees at Mother Brown on your forum or anything like that?
Yeah, we do. We get it from some unlikely places as well. Again, I can't really delve into it on air, but there's a certain person who really hates us, who's quite well known.
I think I know, but yeah.
Yeah, you probably do, mate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of you get a lot of accusations thrown at you just because you voice your opinion,
Yeah.
And it's not on you. I mean, I'm a lifelong West Ham fan. I know Graham is. I know the other moderators are.
Yeah.
We're not on it for love. We don't get paid to do this. We do it because we love the club and we love what Graham's doing and trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's an internet forum. I go in there to have a laugh and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Insults and accusations at people. I think the worst one I ever got, someone called me a Tottenham fan once, which I just really hated. Never call me that.
Yeah,
never.
Seriously. Those are fighting words. Wow.
That was disgusting. I had to take a week off the forum because I was just like so traumatized.
Yeah. Actually, Irish Tommy has a question for you here in the chat. He says, "What does Rio think of the former players coming out against the protests and suggesting it would affect performances?"
Well, I know one player ex-player got accused of it, and I actually went to an event on Friday night when he was hosting that, Tony Gall.
Tony, yeah.
And his words got taken completely out of context. Every time I've seen him, he's been quite vocal in saying that he doesn't agree with a lot what the board does. He would never take the fans up. He just said, as Hammers United, what they said in their kind of their mission for these protests, back the team, not the regime.
Yeah.
And a lot of that gets taken out of context by the press. We all know Golden and Sullivan have got a lot of friends in the media, or they used to have until they're a couple of weeks back. They're slowly eroding that. And they use their context to kind of manipulate stuff and make things look bad. Every ex-player that I've come across who's voiced an opinion has pretty much agreed with Ham United statement.
Yeah.
And we fans are not idiots. We know what we're doing. Yeah. And a lot of people have got to realise that the manipulation going on behind the scenes from those in charge is pretty horrendous, and it's borderline criminal, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I had a question for Rio. Rio, what is your relationship like with the club, with the kind of the contacts you have behind the scenes? I mean, how it's changed over the years, and another thing mentioned recently has been that there are not many West Ham fans who work under Brady, for example, for the club, which is a big thing. So when they put out these media things that don't make any sense, it's embarrassing. They're not West Ham fans, and that's a deliberate ploy what Karen does just to piss everyone off, really. So just wanted to know what your feelings were. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you a few things. I was on the original incarnation of the SAB. I got nominated by friends and people off the KUMB to represent. And I witnessed firsthand like some of the devious underhand methods that went on by the club. And anyone who voiced a bit of dissatisfaction in the meetings was quickly removed from that supporters board. And it was used basically as a cheap method of getting things done, an underhand, devious way of getting what they wanted through.
Yeah. That's
North Korean in its approach, what we're seeing lately, where we can't have freedom of speech by taking banners into the ground, stuff like that, that's been going on since that previous incarnation, the SAB. I was on it, I think, for 2 years in the end. I voiced a bit of dissatisfaction over some ticketing stuff. And after numerous years, I think 30 odd years I've been going, I never had a problem getting tickets or with the ticket office. All of a sudden, every single application I did was completely ruined or ignored.
Really?
Yeah, no, I've had a few things like that. And I don't think it was coincidence.
Yeah.
I just think as soon as a bit of dissent in the ranks, they wanted you off.
There's another question in the chat. Actually, this one comes from Periscope, which means they're from Twitter. They ask, "Are you a fan of Moyes? And do you think that Pellegrini, or did you think that Pellegrini was going to move us forward?"
To be honest, I was really behind Pellegrini. I thought he'd been a man. And once, after the initial few games, when he first took charge, we had that awful run of form. We lost the first 4 or 5, didn't we?
4, yeah.
Well, I went to the Arsenal away game, and I saw the seeds of change. I saw the way the team was set up, the way he wanted to play football, and I really got behind it. And there was he did settle down, and we did quite well in his first season. And even at the start of this season, like, obviously the City game, it's an anomaly. I mean, City are City. We lost that first game 5-0. Then we went on, had that good run, culminating in beating Man United. I think was it 4th, 5th or something? And just the whole bottom drops out of the club.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him for that. But what I do blame him for is that what went on behind the scenes, because something obviously went on the training ground, because you don't go from the level of performances the players were putting in to dropping that rapidly without something going on.
Yeah.
But he just cut a distant figure. He didn't want to get involved in anything. And he got retreated backwards and backwards. In the end, he looked like he didn't care. He didn't want to be.
Yeah.
And
Didn't look like it anyway.
It just shone through.
Yeah.
With Moyes, I'm not his biggest fan. It was a cheap and miserable option for me. It's the way that Gold Sullivan run the bloody club, isn't it? Everything's cheap. Everything's. I just think he was available. I think it was a very strange decision, not just from us, but from Moyes himself. I mean, he'd just been sacked by a club. 18 months later, they come calling, cap in hand, come back and work for us. Was it because he was out of work for that long that he decided to come back? Which for me shows a lack of kind of integrity on his part. But whoever's in charge, I'm back, and I've been pretty furious with him. Like, I think the City game was really kind of abysmal. I didn't like the way he went about things. I didn't like the things he said about Bowen as well, because that guy's had a stellar season for Hull, topping a lot of the stat charts. He's just earned a £20 million move to a big club, because whether people like it or not, we are a big club, Yeah. And Moyes has kind of undermined his confidence. I just thought, the poor lad's just sitting there, like, thinking, I've got a big move. I'm back in the Premiership. I'm going to do something. And he got kind of shot down. But thankfully, on yesterday, he's come round, and I think he's proved a few doubters wrong, Bowen, But
Big
the
time.
doubters mainly his own manager.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I didn't understand that attitude, saying, I don't think he's good enough. If he ain't good enough, why don't you buy him?
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, just thank you to Tony, and thank you to Duncan. That's true. We all do suffer this together. There's a question from one of our regular co-hosts and hosts. He co-hosts the West Ham Women's Show, and he actually co-hosted an interview with me last week, Reese, and he asks. This is for both you guys, actually. If Moyes keeps us up, do you think that they'll extend his contract, I guess, even further as a reward for keeping us up in the Premier League? Or will they just let that 18-month thing, go on, give him just that other year?
Interesting. Yeah. I think they'll increase it. I think. Yeah.
You think they'll increase it? Yeah.
They'll have another year to the end. I think. Yeah. So he's got 2 years. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as we need the stability, like Jazz said earlier, I don't trust them to kind of not go for a bigger name option because they like to be in the media spotlight and attention seek. So if something better comes along, I very much think they'll go. Thanks again, David. But see you later.
The problem, Rio, is that Kovac, Brendan Rodgers, and Ancelotti, they've all said no to us in the recent past. So that's another thing, isn't it? Yeah. And maybe David is our level at the moment.
But
harsh reality, yeah.
Even going back even further, like right after Allardyce, Bielsa said no to us. You know, how awesome would that have been to have someone like Bielsa, dude? Anyway, or even Benitez back then, well, had a better opportunity, but still. So there's another, I guess, semi-question here on the subject. Carlton Cole has had many opinions on the protests this week on Twitter. What do you think? What do you think about his thoughts? Has anyone seen these?
Yeah, I saw them this morning. I can't quite believe he was that oblivious to the way the fans felt about the board.
I don't buy it. Yeah, there's no way.
No, but he's on the payroll. He's So I'm not really surprised that
maybe saying the right thing. Yeah.
I think he's got to toe the party line, sadly.
Which is bizarre because isn't Tony Cotty on the payroll too? Doesn't he do the Club London stuff?
I think he does still do a little bit of the hospital.
Yeah.
I think Mark Ward said something yesterday morning. I wasn't at the event, but I heard that because Mark Ward also does a lot of work for the club, he was telling fans to get behind the club, and then the fans are getting annoyed. So I think going forward, a lot of players will refrain from saying anything. I think now,
Wow. Yeah. Because when I was there with you, Jazz, I thought Mark Ward was. I don't remember him being any bit pro board. I thought he might have threw a few comments in there that were against that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping. But well, Tommy, Irish Tommy, I'm not saying it, but he seems to believe that the OSB and the Claret and Hugh are board mouthpieces. I can't say. I won't say. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I wish they were more transparent, not just fake transparent, throwing out bullshit stats and numbers at us. I did firsthand see the zip ties on the scaffolding during the stadium tour. Can't hide that. You can't hide the running track still underneath the stadium with a bunch of just miscellaneous weightlifting equipment lying about. And, it was very disappointing, but it was really cool to see. I mean, listen, the one thing that I'm happy about is the Claret fucking pitch. I mean, the Claret carpet, I'm sorry. I saw it first and I got to walk on it, man. That was awesome. I kept getting flashbacks of Mikel Antonio petting it, and so look, I mean, they had, those are things that they had to do or in their mind at least have to do to shut us up, because other than the Claret carpet, everything else that they're either planning or have done have been not quite what they said was going to happen. Even this whole bullshit about squaring off the ends, it's still not 100% transparent as to what exactly that means, how far exactly that means it will be from the pitch, and also what that means for everybody involved in that move, seating wise. And will that really make a difference? I guess the deepest part really is the long sides, not just the ends. I think we need to do something about all that. I don't know. What do you guys think about any of that? I just bullshitted about Rio.
We're in a mismatch of a stadium as it is, as you know, and just said. If you're going to try and square it off, it's going to make the aesthetics look even worse. You're going to have two square ends, a rounded, long kind of east end. It's just going to look even more horrendous than it does at the moment. It's
I think there's a couple. But you're right. I think there's a couple of issues that. What's quite interesting is I'm not sure how other clubs are set up, but we do have joint owners, whether it's 50% stroke 30%. I think that can cause issues when deciding. Sort of Gold wanted David Moyes to stay. They didn't. Who are we going to sign? They don't really run the club, Gold and Sullivan, day to day. They get feedbacks from Brady's team. So Brady, in effect, is running the club. I think that's a point to remember. I think the other thing I was thinking about, I know sort of It's easier saying it now. Why didn't we keep Upton Park for 1 or 2 years? Were they really desperate for 19 million, 38 million, whatever? Because at least we could have seen how the move goes, and you could have had a clause or something to even. I mean, it's easy saying it now, but maybe you could have kept it for a couple of years and have that option of maybe revisiting it and staying there and going back. You know, these are the 3-4 things that are quite interesting to talk about, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, would be the Upton Park thing, because you can't build over a certain height.
Yeah.
And I went back there about 6 months after the flats were being built, and already it was twice the size, you know. So we've been deceived along the lines again there, you know. And I think in cahoots with Newham Council, I think that might be happening.
I think Rio, I was going through my old football programme collection, and I found a 2001 publication with what the new ground would look like with the East End built. And it looks great. I'll send some images to you, Tim, after the chat. Yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't even realise I had it within my collection. There's a whole publication magazine on what the new ground would look like at Upton Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we ever get new ownership, hopefully they're, they have a lot more money than what our current owners have, or at least they're less stingy, I guess. Listen, we don't have to stay at London Stadium. We don't, right? We don't. And whoever comes in next can actually, if they have enough money to buy the club, if they have that much money, then they must have enough money to knock some buildings down or some flats down or whatever the case may be, or businesses or whatever it is, somewhere closer to where we used to be, or even, it doesn't matter where it is, as long as it's in East London, and knock some shit down, build a new stadium that's, you know, where there can be local businesses around, walking distance to everything, walking distance to not just going through the, you know, busy but the business district or whatever it's called, the Westfield or the Stratford Center and all that other crap. Make it feel more at home. That's what's most important to the fans, the supporters, I believe, is not so much the shit on the pitch, because we've apparently gone through this for, you know, many, many, many moons before I was born. It's been the same shit over and over again. But listen, at least the support was there, and the support was happy being where we were, because there was always that family environment, not family environment, but like for little kids anyway. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about like the unity. I mean, there was the local businesses, the pie and mash shops, the local pubs, et cetera, et cetera. That atmosphere is gone, and unfortunately, the closest thing that, you know, I could feel from that was, you know, I tend to go to Carpenters, I guess, when I'm there. I try to anyway, as much as I can. I did get to visit them before the Liverpool match, and thank you so much, Carpenters, for putting up our scarf in there. I really appreciate it. But anyway, you know, that's even a little bit of a walk, you know what I mean? And then where's the nearest pub from there? You know what I mean? They're all so spread out, and some of them told me to take my fucking hat off. Fuck you. I'm not taking my goddamn hat off. You know what I mean? Like, did they tell you that back at, you know, the Bowl-In? I mean, if you walked into a pub, or, you know what I'm saying? You had to take your fucking hat off. I mean, if they did, whatever. I mean, that's not the point. The point is that even the drinks at these places, or even the soda, like an actual Coca-Cola at these freaking places, or even, you know, they charge like ridiculous amounts. Suit and tie pubs. I'm not saying there's anything bad about that. I'm just saying there's too many of those and less variety. And I don't know. I don't like Stratford that much personally. However, I don't know. I just think that, you know, maybe someday we can just fucking move on from that place, because everything that the board keeps saying, and also, I guess not realists, but people that, how do I put it? There's a lot of supporters that are like, oh, well, we can't, man. You know, we're here, and it's going to be too expensive, and oh, look, you know, the board can't do anything about the stadium because they don't even own the stadium, and they have to get permission from 2 different organizations. Blah blah, blah. I'm like, I understand that, but and I hear that London's very tough when it comes down to building permits and blah 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 blah, and permits. Anyway, I understand that, but if you get the money, fucking do it. Like, you tell me that Karen Brady can't buy someone off, like she hasn't already. You know what I mean? Or not Karen Brady, but like the board. You know?
Yeah. Definitely.
How'd they get this deal in the first place? What, they just shook hands and said hello? No, they probably paid someone off. You know, schmoozed around. Anyway, sorry, that's another rant for my day.
Oh, well, Tim, you got a fair point. You got a fair point. Imagine the ground wasn't there, and someone wanted to build a 60,000 stadium next to Westfield. It wouldn't get planning. It's crazy. The amount of people that go through that shopping centre colliding with the fans that go to the club, it's a nightmare. There's too many people there. You'll never get the permission.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing I found out, not sure if I'm going sidetracking anywhere, is that when Tottenham built their ground, we're all thinking, God, how are they going to pay for it? They're not going to buy any players for many years going forward. Just found out that they've actually, the finance deal that the owner, Daniel Levy's got, he's fixed the loan for 25 years at 2 to 2.5%. And he's only paying interest for 25 years. And when you get to that point, all you do is just roll the loan forward. You're never actually paying the capital. So all they're paying is 2.5% interest. And in that meantime, they've got a stadium that they'll generate minimum 40 to 50 million.
Yeah.
You know, and I've known people who've been to their corporate facilities, and it's out of this world compared to what we've got.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've heard no complaints.
Yeah, so that's how clever some owners are. The way they refinanced it, it's amazing. Yeah.
Mm. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk. I wasn't talking shit about other places around there. I mean, I was just saying that everything is so spread out. And yes, the Hammers Chat boats, I guess, are closest to the stadium once you get outside the stadium. And yes, it is a fantastic experience. Great people on those boats, 100%. I'm not going to take anything away from them or that. Yeah, it's tough. You know, there are so many great places around there. But it's nothing that you can like pub crawl to, right? Like there's nothing you can just say, you're either going to the boats or you're going to Carpenter's or you're going to whatever, you know, and so on, so on, so on, because you can't just go quickly from one, spend an hour there, and then go to the next one and go to the next one, go next. There's so much distance between everything or the supporters club, etc. I mean, everything's just so spread out, you know. In Christ, I mean, you can find kebab anywhere you want, but you can't find a goddamn pie and mash like anywhere around there. You know, fuck's up with that. But anyway, I do want to do 2 quick Hammers polls with you, gentlemen, before we head into the rapid fire questions with my good friend Rio here. So this is gonna be for both of you. Actually, I'm gonna try to pull this up so that we can all see it. So this is from our good friends at Hammers Polls. If you want to play along with us, feel free. If not, go head on over there and, what do you call it? To Hammers Polls and vote yourself. Well, it looks like someone already did this, so I must be an American Hammers TV account, not my personal. Well, we can already see what everybody else picked, but this is from Tony Pearson, who's in our chat room on Hammers Polls. Oh, there you are, Tony. If Noble's dropped at some point, who will be captain? I'm sorry, if Noble's dropped at some point, what? Not who will be captain, but who would you want to be captain? So basically, bottom line is, who do you guys want to see replace Noble as captain this season, if he gets replaced this season?
Declan Rice, definitely. He's the only natural born leader we've got out there, I think, other than Noble.
What about you, Jazz?
Yeah, I mean, he's young, but we don't have any other choice. I think Rice is the only true option we've got, really, despite the age. Yeah, there's no other obvious candidate, I think.
I think that would be the best thing for him. I think that would be that, putting that on him and giving him that confidence and making him feel like, okay, well, if you were club captain, would you want to go to Manchester United in the off season? Or would you want to stay? He would feel more included, more at home, no?
I think I think he'd absolutely love it.
I think Rio, from memory, do you remember Tony Adams? He was very young, wasn't he, when he became Arsenal captain?
He was at the same age, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's one I can remember. Not many, but yeah, why not? Yeah.
Even Bobby Moore wasn't that old when he became captain of both West Ham and England. So, there's like precedent.
Duncan says Souček eventually. Tommy says Ogbonna. He has been a great servant. I think he's my personal Hammer of the Year so far.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
But I don't know. Maybe. I mean, other than Rice, yeah, I'd say Augie, 100%. England waned. Good old Wayne McMullen, who invented these rapid fire questions we're going to ask you soon, says Souček as well. Yeah, nobody else want to mention that in the chat room? All right. Well, we'll move on to the next poll then. Okay, so, geez, another one from Tony. Wow, he's on fire over here. We've conceded 49 goals this season. Clearly, too many. Wolves 32, Sheffield United 25. Yeah, well, their defense is just something else. And they're 7th and 8th respectively. So 7th and 8th in the table. Where's the problem? So where is our problem? Is it the left back? Is it the team defending in general? Our right back or the central partnership?
I think it's defending in general.
Yeah,
It's
a lot
like
of
with
people do.
competition this season to concede the worst goal possible. I mean, you've got keepers throwing the ball in their own net. You've got the other week when Fabianski punched the ball on Bonner's back off his head. He got the own goal. Diop the other week, Fabianski on Monday night.
Yeah.
It's just how many times the teams concede that poor goals in one season.
Yeah.
It's just unreal, absolutely unreal.
And I mean, I tend to. Well, first of all, I hate goalkeepers. I have a big. That's another thing you'll know if you watch the show regularly that I can't stand the. What do you call it? The sympathy for them, I guess you'd say. I tend not to worry about the defense so much as just pay attention. If you're a goalkeeper, know where the fucking ball is so you can position yourself in a half decent position so that, it doesn't make someone like Roberto look like he makes an amazing save just because he was out of position. Like, keep yourself in position and do your job. That's what you get paid to do, is keep the ball out of the net. But anyway, besides that, we did have Roberto for a spell, so that didn't help to our our goals conceded, I guess you'd say. And David Martin did okay, but listen, what's the excuse against Leicester? The Leicester B squad when Randolph gave up 4.
I think you defend as a team, I think, and especially from the attack. The one thing I don't like, which you're not doing at the moment, is when their goalkeeper has the ball and he gives it to the fullback. I think our 2 attackers don't press their defenders enough, like you see the Liverpool Spurs people do. They don't give you minutes rest. So I'd like us to press a bit more. Obviously, have the players that have the stamina and engine to do that. So I like our strikers to sort of press the defence a bit more, stop them from bringing the ball so comfortably out from the back without being sort of confronted, really,
Yeah, we did that really well in the first half yesterday, I thought, and it was a nice one.
Yeah, it'd be a nice change, wouldn't it? Yeah.
This one had 310 votes. There's still 2 days left in this one, so if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and over to @HammersPolls on Twitter. I guess we have time for one more, maybe. This one has not been picked yet, so that's great. What does this say? Well, we've already answered that. Damn it. Son of a bitch. All right, so which defender performed the best against Southampton? Was it Ngakia, Diop, Ogbonna, or Cresswell? That's a tough one. I'd say there's a tie between the top 2 choices there, but not top 2, but like the Ogbonna and Ngakia. But what do you guys think?
I'd go with Ogbonna myself. I think
he
had an outstanding game on Monday, and he carried on yesterday. He's kind of, like you said, he's my hammer of the year too. He's just been so impressive, and I thought yesterday he marshalled the defence really well.
Yeah, Ogbonna again, and I'm not sure what's going on with Diop. He hasn't developed as fast as I thought he would. I think when he came, he was brilliant, and he's taken a few steps back again, and he's got stupid mistakes in him all the time. Can't pick up defenders. He kind of, the corner comes in, he's lost his marker. Yeah, it's just.
But then he'll score a goal.
Yeah.
He'll pull a goal out of his ass. It's so bizarre. Like, he'll have 3 shit games in a row, then he'll fucking score a winner or something like that. But my biggest concern here is the 1.3% who voted for Cresswell out of this lot. What's up with that? Wow. But there's 5 days left on that one. So again, if you guys are in the chat room or watching this after the fact on YouTube,
Tim, that could be Cresswell.
It could be.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, yeah. And real quick, they do some really cool videos on YouTube as well. So based off of their polls. So if you want to send a couple minute video clip over to them based off of one of their polls, answering their polls, I guess DM them. Because they're trying to grow their YouTube channel too, and they're great people over there. So that said, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. Let me figure out how to pull this screen off. There we go. Boom. Okay. I got to find it. Shit. I should have prepared a little bit better. Jazz. I got all these pictures from Jazz on my phone. I can't find what I'm looking for. Salma Hayek and everybody else.
That's between you and me.
No, I know. No, it was Steve sending us those. Yeah.
She rang me about an hour ago. Yeah.
All right. LCSC. Oh no, they're gone. Fucking, where the hell did it go? Shit. Don't tell me I lost my fucking. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Pardon the language, children of the corn. All right. So basically, these were whipped up by Wayne, based off of Inside the Actors Studio questions. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. It's kind of funny. Some are West Ham related, some are just completely random. So just to throw you off a bit, but have fun with them. Feel free to elaborate if you choose. You don't have to. You can give one-word answers if you'd like. But the first question is what we ask everybody, and that's meat pie or apple pie.
Apple pie.
See, Wayne was right. Wayne said this a million times. He's like, don't expect every English person to say meat pie. Who's your favorite current West Ham player?
Probably Fornells, to be honest. Bit of a
Wow.
I think he's grown in the English game. He just looks an exciting player.
Who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Arthur Masuaku. He just terrifies me. I don't frustrates me, but how can you not learn to defend? I mean, you must be about 28 now. Surely you must have sunk in by now.
Yeah.
I
just don't think he wants to.
I just don't. He's got the quickest feet in the club, but the slowest brain. That's the problem.
Ria, what about Sanchez? I want to drive him up the cliff.
Is he still with us?
I'm so ready for my memory. Anywhere near us.
Yeah. The story was his wife loves shopping in London, so 2 clubs came in for him, and he said, "I'm not leaving."
Yeah, but what clubs? Because haven't they watched him play? He's abysmal.
Oh boy. Well, they probably watch his videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
His highlights,
Carlos, sort of.
FA Cup or top 4 finish. Now, understand, doesn't mean 4th place. It could mean winning the title, just within the top 4, which is Champions League positions. Would you rather see the club, not this year, obviously, and never it's happening, but I'm just saying in general, would you rather see an FA Cup victory or top 4 finish?
That's a tough one. If we could win the league, I'd take that. But
yeah,
FA Cup.
That's the number one answer. That's most everybody says that. No matter we've shaped this question around so many times throughout the the episodes, because at first it was originally FA Cup or top 6 finish, and everybody FA Cup. I'm like, okay, well let's change it a little bit and so on. But everyone still, I think we've had 2 people say top 4 finish because Champions League could lead to hardware themselves, but the main reason about the FA Cup is that they either went to the the cup final where we lost to Liverpool and they want to see us win one, or B, they we haven't won one since 1980, so they want to see us do that again. So
I think the other Champions League is absolute shit until the quarterfinals. No one cares about it until the
exactly.
knockouts. Give me the FA Cup.
Right on. What about West Ham do you love?
It's the camaraderie, It's the people I've met, the friendships I made, and despite the fact that by and large we're absolutely ranked, I've had some fantastic memories for it. It is like a family.
What about West Ham do you hate?
The current one is the easy answer, the bald, but I just think
that's the number one answer.
I think just in general, though, it's just the we're always on the cusp of something great, and we manage to self-implode somehow, and that's just so frustrating. Every time we get decent, we just drop off the edge of a cliff, and it's. I just want to be good once, Just once.
I think you're there with everyone else. I mean, honest to God, it's the truth, and we keep hearing that. It's the West Ham way. Get used to it. The consistent inconsistency or the struggle and whatnot. And it's in our song too. We get our hopes up, and then it fucking crashes, and then we again. But we continue on. But no, I would love to see us win fucking something. I mean, not the Betway Cup. I'm talking like, even the League Cup, for fuck's sake. Just give me something. But I'd take an FA Cup final, not even to win it. I mean, I'd take that right now, just to at least have that day out. I'd be there in a heartbeat. So what sound makes you happy?
The sound of a can of Brewdog Elvis juice being opened.
There you go. That's awesome. Good answer, man. What's your favorite curse word?
Bollocks.
That's been coming up a lot lately. It's funny.
Yes, it refers to the way I feel about our club. It refers to one of my favourite TV programmes. I used to use that a lot in that. So yeah, I'll take that.
Oh, it's like that, yeah. It's usually the F or the C word, but I like to hear other answers like bollocks, shite. We have a couple, Irish people, like gobshite and stuff like that. But bollocks, I like that one. That's good. What team? Just one. What team do you love to beat?
I should say them lot in blue and the league below us, but we don't play them enough, so it's Tottenham. Much of a hate me or well, they're pretty much irrelevant to us, don't they? Tottenham just got that horrible support, that horrible air of like superiority when they don't really back it up with anything. So yeah, Tottenham.
Yeah, that's I guess that's our number one answer. Millwall comes up sometimes, regardless. I mean, because there's been a few times in the past few seasons where we've been like, if we had just won the damn cup game, we would have played them next, or vice versa, or we won the round and then they lost, or whatever. We've been so close to playing them in the cup in the wall, but the close third and fourth place votes are usually Chelsea and Man U. That comes up quite a bit because I guess they're probably a bigger club than any of those other clubs we mentioned. It's nice to beat a big club, but I don't think Tottenham's a big club. Fuck them. Anyway, this is a good one. This is the next to last question. This is name a player, past or present, that epitomizes West Ham to you.
I'm going to go with my favourite player of all time, Steve Potts.
Wow. I think he's come up once before.
He was very under the radar, despite the fact he went through a 4-year period where he won Hammer of the Year twice and was runner-up twice. He never got the adulation he deserved, And it's like us as a club. I don't think we get the credit we deserve when things go right, which isn't often, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gave it his all. He come triumph over adversity because he had a bit of and it was a revelation for me. But he never got the credit he deserved, either from the fans or the media.
You started off as a right back, didn't he, Rio, and moved into the centre. Very stable player. Tony said that when his pace went towards the end, Potsy was unbelievable. He was a kind of a 7 out of 10 without being 8 or 9 ever. Stable. Yeah. And
I think during the 90s, Ian Wright was at his peak. And it took Ian Wright about 12 or 13 games before he actually scored against the team where Potsy was in, which says a lot, I think, for his ability. His ability to mark people.
Well, what does he do at the club at the moment?
He's in a coaching
role, isn't he? Yeah.
Under 20, 21 or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and fair play. I hope he's a success because I've never met him, but that's the one West Ham player I'd love to meet.
Yeah, that's actually come up before. The last question, my favorite question, since Wayne is in the chat room whoring himself in his podcast. West Ham is Why We Drink, which is a great podcast, by the way. Might as well say, he invented these questions. And listen, this question is my favorite question he's ever come up with because I love hearing the answers. It's always different. This one is, if you could take a time machine back to experience anything to do with West Ham, when and where would you go?
I would go back to 1960. It was the magical triumvirate of Peters, Hurst, Moore, and all English and all London, an Essex-based team winning on a European stage, and we did it in a real kind of stylish manner, you know, which under Ron Greenwood at Wembley, you know, I just think that would have been a magical time to be a West Ham fan, because also you had the FA Cup the year before, World Cup the year afterwards. I just think, and actually winning the trophy, you know, just seeing us pick up that trophy.
Yeah. So we've heard, 75, 80 comes up a lot. The last game at the Bowl-In comes up a lot. The 66 World Cup, because it's technically something to do with West Ham, that comes up frequently. The White Horse Final comes up. So that's why I'm saying this is my favorite question, because we get the most sporadic answers on this question. And it's nice to hear what people think about it.
Yeah.
I heard the Intertoto Cup.
I was there for that.
Yeah?
I went to Mets, we went without tickets, drove through 4 countries, and managed to get in the ground, and that was a magical day out. I'd love to relive that and all. That was a mad day out.
Cool. Well, listen, man, I gotta say thank you so much for coming on. I gotta say thanks to Jazz for being my co-host today. Now that we've interviewed you, Rio, you're welcome to come back and on one of our other shows. We have shows every single night. Sometimes on weekends as well. We do interviews. We'll have co-hosts come on from time to time. If you enjoyed yourself, you're more than welcome to come back. I want to thank everyone in the chat room. I see Foshizi popped in nice and late, and as did Matt. So say hello to everyone who showed up late. And but anyway, thanks to Wayne McMullen for those questions. Check out his podcast, West Ham is Why We Drink. Check out our podcast too, and all of our other good friends. You can go check everything out on our website, AmericanHammers.net. Thank you to Graham from Knees Up Mother Brown for introducing us to Rio and bringing him on, getting him on the show today. And is there anything you guys would like to plug or say? You guys get the floor. So let's start with Rio.
Yeah, just anyone wants to pop my name ratings on Twitter every now and then. It's at Rio Barlow.
Awesome. You Jazz?
They know me, don't they? I'm on all the forums and Twitter. If someone wants to argue about David Moyes, I know where I am.
Yeah.
But, I had some fun last couple of days ago. But going back to that interesting question about, I said 1979 when that season started. I would have loved to have sort of go back then and then follow the 80, 81 up to 86. 79 would have been great, I think. Yeah.
Foshizi, so do I. I have children too, and they know better to bother me when it's time for a show. But anyway, you're still late. But anyway, so follow these guys on Twitter if you can. And tonight we got our West Ham Weekend Review show. Tonight Eastern time will be 9 p.m. So that's 2 a.m. in the UK. If you guys are up late for that. I expect you to be there, Foshizi, to make up for being here late today. Monday night, AHTV and Friends, I will not be hosting because I'll be recovering from shoulder surgery. Woo, can't wait. And that means Ray Borum is going to host tomorrow night for me. And then we have Charlie Walsh will be with him, and I think a few other people I'm trying to find to pop in on that show as well. So we have 4 or 5 different people from all over the world. And tonight we can review. I know it's with Lee and Selly, and hopefully some other people I'm going to try to throw on there. Jazz loves Moyes. Yeah. We got to back the manager, man. As much as we hate it, it's what we got to do, right? So cheers, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you two off the air real quick before we go. But seriously, talk to you later, guys. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.